been in the wild for months, boss. We need a break. Some real sleep, an ale, some companionship. Are you seriously considering another warrant? So soon? I think we can wait at least a week before another adventure in Phalon. I'm Master Matt,
And I'm Phalon John.
and welcome back to the Sleeping Grush podcast, your source for information from every corner of the world of Phalon. We are sitting here today in the fantasy RPG room of Cardboard Corner Cafe. John, myself, and Jager putting together a podcast for you.
Chief Information Officer of all of DGS.
Chief Information Officer Jager.
That sounds kind of, I don't know. Now that I hear it out loud, I'm not so sure it's best to
Strike that from the record.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
No, it's great.
It's great stuff.
CIO. And we are coming to you from Cardboard Corner, Kansas City's best gaming cafe. If you find yourself in Kansas City, this is the place to come and play some board games, shop tabletop game and hobby, grab a waffle, and these days, a nice warm drink. So if you find yourself in Kansas City, you can hit either of their locations, Lenexa Public Market or Overland Park, Cardboard Corner Cafe. All right, John, we got a lot to cover today.
We do.
But before we get into the incredible lineup of models that we're releasing for Black Friday, I want to take a couple of minutes and talk about the projects that we have on our table for the winter. That's are on the table this week. We just had our first deep freeze here in Kansas City this last week. Things got really cold.
That was deep.
Well,
My goodness.
listen, Maine. Right. It's all they're already reporting polar bears up there, I think. So, you are used to, you have a higher tolerance for this sort of thing. And
Yeah.
quite honestly, I do like the
Lumberjacks, polar bears on the other part of the planet. But whatever.
No,
no.
no. polar bears. They eat lumberjacks.
They do.
I mean, I've seen it reported at least 3 times
Yep.
or something up there.
Bigfoot recording.
Yes, right. So it's getting colder. The days are getting shorter. We got a lot of dark nighttime out. And I've found that it's a perfect time to kind of recenter myself and reorient myself with my paint table. I have found this week alone that I've been able to get back to my paint table more than I have in the last few weeks. I've been thinking about my projects more. I've been thinking about paint combinations more, all of that sort of thing. So what we want to talk about today for just a couple of minutes are what we have on the table, not for this week, not right now, but what we are planning on doing over the coming cold months. And we encourage you, when you hear this, to drop your projects into the comments to kind of stir up some conversation and let us know what you're going to be working on through the winter months.
Yeah, one of the hobby channels of Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, John, what do you got planned for this?
Well, to start, yeah, I'm blessed in this area. I have a entire room that I can devote to the hobby. It's very, very fortunate to be in that situation.
Not to mention the shelves of DGS product very close.
No, I'm talking about upstairs.
Oh, okay.
I'm not about that's where it's at. I'm also yes. I'm blessed to have a big game room.
Yes,
But then I have my own paint and hobby room also.
absolutely.
So I'm very, very lucky. It's just my situation.
Sure.
But regardless, I've found throughout my life, whether my hobby area was big or small, at some point you just have to reset.
Yes.
So my first thing, the thing I'm doing right now is I am just going through, because you take a paint out, you take a tool out, you take a bit out, a plastic bag of this, a box of that, and I leave it, or add things without finding a home for it, and it just gets all the surface areas covered. And I have a room, and all of a sudden, after a few months of painting, I've got a space to paint on that's like 6 by 6, right? So it doesn't matter whether you have like a corner of your living room that your significant other is graciously, looking the other way over, or whether you have a whole room to it. You're going to find a way to take that entire space and drive it down into a 6 by 6
Yep.
space. So I am in the process of organizing that better, throwing away things or getting rid of things, or giving away things in some cases.
Yeah.
I have more paint than I need, so And I changed my mind about paints, so people benefit from that. But the project, the Free Blades, yes, for you have the Phelan project that is going to take me through the winter. And when you talk about the winter earlier, not just the cold weather and the short nights, but also for us, it's off
It's
season
off
from
season.
cons.
I know, and that's really important.
know.
That's something I was going to touch on.
Yeah. So for the DGS team, we're not looking at, you don't have your summer vacations, you don't have the conventions that you go to, the holidays, and then January, February, through the middle of March for us. It's time to write new rules, which I'll be doing, but also I'll be working on. I think we're probably going to have related answers here to some degree, right? I mean, uh, we are exploring in depth one of the major regions of Phelan next year and theming several events and model releases and supplements to the game around this region and its history.
Yeah.
And so I'll be painting models that will be used to terrorize my players in the games that we run, that are for me Bright Sword related,
Right.
that are
Right.
role playing game related. I don't know if I'm doing a free band particularly that's relevant to that story. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have most of those painted.
Sure.
Every time one of ours comes out, I paint it, so I have them.
You might change your mind after seeing the amazing tutorials I'm putting together for making bases for that area. Just saying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, get one of those nearby free bands to be based in that way. Okay, that'd be cool. I'll do that. So for me, though, it's the bad guys.
Right.
I am painting the threats for a series of adventure games that we're going to do that are centered in that area, both Free Blades Encounters and Brightsword. And I'm not going to talk about what they are, because that's a surprise. Some of them are models that we are making, that we are going to release, and some of them are stat lines, because you can't give a game master a Brightsword all the things that could possibly be in Phelan right out of the line that we miss,
Sure.
It's focused on Free Blades right now.
Right.
And so there's Grushes, and there's now the Banshee, and there's Shoutkaraks and War Spiders. But we will drop stat lines on people who say, hey, look, I'm running an adventure for my friends, a Free Blades encounter. I'd like to have a undead winged giraffe. Could you make the stats set? Sure.
I was going to ask you for that.
I know.
Later.
I've been thinking about it all week. I know. Yeah. So anyway, my major project is to get those things done. I am fortunate enough to have help with the terrain. I'm not a great terrain modeler. Matt is one of them, so I'll be focusing on the threats, the models that are the non-player characters and villains in the stories we're going to tell in that region fail on over the course of 2026.
Yeah, and you're right. My answer is very much related, because while you're getting ready for the larger games and that side of things, I'm putting together the supplements and some terrain and things like that. And doing those supplements means that we're going to be taking pictures of models in this terrain. So we're going to have tutorials for basing.
So the bases match.
So the bases match. We're going to have tutorials for terrain, all sorts of things. So my big projects over the winter are going to be amassing all of these things, doing photography for them, principal photography for them, and editing, and then also putting together step-by-steps so that everybody else can join in on the fun. And in the next month or so, I'll be getting with several people to participate in that. I've already contacted a few. I'm going to be doing some traveling a little closer to Christmas time. I'm going to head out to Indianapolis, going to go down to Austin to do some photography on some boards and some armies that are going to show up in this book that we're producing for that. So busy time, but really gratifying because there's a theme and a focus and everything ties in, and that's really cool for me. That's a lot of fun. So it's really nice that we're going to be able to kind of talk about that as we say more and review more through the winter months, because that is coming. Adepticon.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna drop most of that at Adepticon. So
Be the first time people see it,
first time people see it.
and first time people be able to purchase some of the models we're making that are themed to
Yeah.
this story.
And it's gonna unfold over the course of the entire year in 2026.
Yep.
And that's something that's kind of fun too. It's not something we've really explored before, but something we're gonna give a shot. So, all right, that's our winter projects. And folks, again, I'd like to encourage you to talk about what you guys have planned for the winter, and drop those in the hobby channel there on Discord. So on to our main topic for today, which is really exciting because I've been staring at these models for the last 3 weeks, like intently staring at them because we've been taking pictures and I've been putting together marketing assets, and we've been doing some sneak peeks with the Patreon folks because our Patreon subscribers get to see the concept art and the renders
Early. Yeah.
So that's one of the benefits of being a Patreon subscriber. So we've been showing them a little bit, but now that we've got Aaron's painted models back and we are in full swing and we've shown the lineup, y'all will have seen most of those both in a group and individually by the time that you hear this. But these models are absolutely incredible. Our Black Friday release lineup is really cool. It's kind of all over the board.
It's not a single faction plus a couple
right.
like we often do it at Adepticon. It's we're trying to get a lot of factions additional
Right.
choices to make.
Right. And I'll just go ahead and drop now that there's 3 main factions at Adepticon that are going to be covered. Right. I'm not going to tell what those are,
Yeah.
but there's 3 main factions that are going to receive reinforcements
Yeah.
and talk about our story.
This is
further our
broader.
story,
Yeah.
right? But this is much more broad. And this is all sorts of different characters. So I've got them on a list here, and I'm just going to just name them off and let you talk a little bit about them, John.
Okay.
The first one up is the Dark Bane, the Herodellin Dark Bane.
Right. So, bane of things that are dark.
Isn't that amazing how that language
About
works?
this, yeah.
Wow.
So, if you know our story, demons are creatures. Demons aren't tied to like a religion like they are in some cultures.
Right.
Demon is the name that the common translation of a name most of these cultures give to these creatures that enter Phalon from another dimension. Devils is not something we've explored yet.
Right. That's coming.
So, if you're familiar with the cosmology of Phalon, the creator divided themselves into 9 aspects we call the Gal. And in the early eons of their existence, these aspects fought. 3 of them rebelled against the other 6. They didn't agree on what was happening. That story is familiar, I think, in some way through cultures here on Earth, Yeah. And those 3 were forced into the void. They were forced into places where they can't reach into Phalon by the other 6.
So they thought.
So they thought. And so there'll be a story coming down the road where eventually, what fun would it be if they stayed there forever? Not fun.
Very little.
So they're already trying to influence the world through various means, including followers, worshipers. And so these people are truly heinous. They're not motivated by, simple greed or petty crime. They want to bring one of the devils back into the world.
Right.
So the Darkbane is a Herodellin who is one of the people who hunts these folks down and works to prevent any of the Gehinnon from ever coming back into Phalon.
Right.
And so he's the leading edge of that story. Well, that's not really true because the Ashen Light Bane, a bane of things that serve the light, is an avatar of one of the Gehinnon.
Yes.
And we've already introduced that model as a villain.
Right.
And so the Light Bane is one of the things the Dark Bane would be baning.
Absolutely. That's certainly the bane of that model.
Yeah. And the mortals, the regular humans that would ally themselves with an Ashen or worship one.
Right. Right.
So
these little cults that would pop up,
yep.
and or just normal folk that get sucked into the wrong things for whatever reason.
Yep.
Yeah, the dark bane's going to be all over him, and I think that's a really cool, witch hunter kind of vibe that we're about to introduce, and it's going to be a cool aspect to the game
Yeah.
going forward for sure.
A warrior caster. Of a
Yeah.
different ilk than the Fist of Vidnar, but the same basic idea.
Right,
Right.
right, but a very focused magic set.
Yes.
Too. It's very Viginar light based. Virtue magic, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Varanic, but Varanic
Right.
draws heavily on pure virtue magic.
Mm-hmm.
And more offensive than other Varanic casters.
Smiting.
Yes, Varanic Smiting is his spell list. Yeah. So, focused in on that. Yeah, definitely.
All right, so next up, and I know it's probably sounds like we're going through these fast, but there are 9 of them.
Yes.
So.
Right?
Kind of based on the same chassis is the Herodelian Questing Knight of Modo.
Right.
So I have a special affection for Modo, just personally, right? The god of nature and wild things.
Sure.
It's just awesome. Yeah, it's kind of my shtick. So tell us a little bit about the Questing Knight.
Well, we already have Questing Knights in the game.
We do.
Right? And
Oh, good one.
they're Questing Knight of blank, right? So, for example, a Questing Knight of Sylvia is a Questing Knight of the goddess Sylvia.
Right.
The Varanic religion took the 6 Gaul that were not rebels and split them into 2 male and female aspects each.
Right.
And Sylvia is one half of the portal. She's the raven.
Right.
And her brother is the snake, right? So that is Sylvia. You've seen that model before, associated with County Ramon very strongly. It's where their main temple is.
Right.
Got a raven on his shield.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay. So a Knight of Modo is one half of the Gaul, the Hearth. Right. So I want to think it's Stag and Falcon.
Yeah, it's
Stag and
Falcon. Air and
Yeah. So he's the Stag Knight.
Yeah.
Right. And so he's got a helmet with
He's
stag
got
horns.
his horns.
Because you got to have one, right? So
it would be remiss of us if we hadn't.
yeah. Strongly associated with County Dunstan. His colors are green and gold. And a knight, definitely different than the others in terms of he's a hunter.
Right.
Armor 5, so chainmail equivalent, not plate, but a spear that he can both pin people with and throw.
Right. Right.
And so a capable Questing Knight on the order of all the other, Vidnar and Sylvia and Barrack, but with a totally different fighting style.
Right. And we're releasing rules for the headquarters, the leader unit of those, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be the
High
Quester.
Quester.
Yeah. Yep. So you could use the model for both.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's a gorgeous model. I just keep staring at it and thinking to myself, when am I going to paint him? Probably pretty soon. All right, let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk about the Blade Daughter from the Eclipse.
So do you want to talk about her origins, though? I mean, her earthly origins?
I do.
I think you do. I think you deserve that.
I think it's a cool thing. So DGS Games has a long history of asking young women who are interested in the game and who play to help us design Eclipse models. I believe the first one was Roger Rexroad's daughter.
Yes.
With the Secret Sister.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're kind of continuing this this tradition. Our good friend Chris Smith, his daughter Naomi, helped us design this model, and not just conceptually, but also did the concept art for us, which
Right.
we'll show off here pretty
She
soon.
drew an illustration of
She
it. Right?
did.
Yeah.
She drew an illustration of her and,
Yeah.
worked with her dad, of course, on some of the rules for this Blade Daughter.
She worked with her dad. You can say that, but she is absolutely capable of doing all that on her own.
She is a monster on the field.
Yes.
She is a very good player. She took second place at our tournament at Meeplethon last year, so she's a very capable player. Absolutely.
So she was all aspects. So she drew the concept art,
Mhm.
or drew the illustration from which that was taken.
Yeah.
and then was very involved in how she played
How she
on the
played, yeah.
battlefield. You know.
And did a ton of the play testing with it
Yep.
and all of that. So what we have with the Blade Daughter is an
All the initial biased play testing. Yeah. We had to come in there and kind of, okay, yes, we don't want one model coming in and having the other 6 models in your Eclipse free band being delivery systems so you can butcher everybody yourself. Which was where it was headed. But well, God bless her, it should, right?
Yes.
That's how she should look at it.
Yes.
She's not supposed to be unbiased.
That's right.
She's absolutely an Eclipse devotee and
She is.
a Blade Mother protege. Right?
Blade Daughter. I mean,
Blade Daughter.
It's in the name.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but a very, very capable model. 2 versions in the stat summary, a leader version and a hero version.
Right. Right.
The leader version is lights out. I think that
it is an awesome
Yeah.
model.
So.
Anybody who's playing Eclipse who hasn't seen this yet is going to just flip their cord
Yeah.
when they see that.
And this is the warrior leader of the Eclipse. The Nemesis is a code name for cell leaders. They're
Right.
masks by path.
Right.
She's all Blade.
Yeah, Blade. Straight
know.
Blade.
So she's a warrior.
Yeah. Awesome model.
Awesome.
All right, let's talk about the Candoran Death Whale. This was an interesting.
You forget to I can't see my hands, so I can't do the spooky hands thing.
I can't.
So you can.
That's what I get.
Nobody's
I
taking
get
any
to-
benefit but us. Yeah. So this is one of those you ask and we deliver.
That's what that's right. I'm glad that you've mentioned.
Oh, you guys need to have an undead leader. You need to have an undead leader. You need to have an undead leader. Shut up. Get an undead leader.
Yes.
And it's awesome. I think it did not need to come out before it did because I think we got that one right. We didn't want just an upgraded Cryx Reaper or a mummy leader.
Right.
This is a totally new. We've never had a model like this before.
We haven't. This is a different monster.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally.
Yeah. It's an undead female banshee-like, spiritish model with perform.
Yes.
So it's the first essential bard leader,
Right.
performer leader.
Right.
Yeah. And boy, capable.
Spicy.
Spicy, salty. Yeah. Salty or spicy, depending where you're from.
A fantastic looking model too.
Yeah.
It and the Banshee, again, like the Dark Bane and the Questing Nagamoto, kind of built on the same chassis.
Right.
But of course, the far cry from the Banshee to the Candoran headdress and
And that, I don't know what's up with that banshee face. She has just lost her crap.
Well, that's getting
You
written
know.
into the
Yes, I know.
So yeah,
Right? You know what's worse than a ghost? A crazy ghost.
that's right. One that's really mad.
Yeah. Seriously, mad.
But yeah, that Candoran Death Whale it's a beautiful model.
Yep.
Aaron did a great job painting it. I
Sure.
think the
Yeah.
photos, he did a great job on all of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're really going to give Andor another look when
Yeah.
you see.
Because, the oppressors, highly capable, but traditional.
Very right.
And the, what people often do is upgrade the,
The
Eviscerator,
Yeah.
which is a quality move.
It is.
Gives
Great
them-
move,
when
yeah.
it goes from hero to leader, they become, capable, even more so with their basic stat line. But this is, performance built to lead the free band and to be a leader of undead and get you closer to the all undead free band,
That's pretty close.
which is what they
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right, next up we have our real utilitarian model release for this season, and that's the Standard Bearer.
Yes. So, also something we've been asked about in my hand. So the trick is, free bands are not military organizations, right? But they are often recruited from them,
Yes. Yes.
heavily, especially the Blade Path personnel, and so they do military things. They do, they can be motivated in the same ways. They have. They bring their officers in some cases, the Keshark from the Trazerites.
Right. Right.
So what we wanted was a flexible model in terms of standards in terms of what they do when they motivate people in battle. In history, do different things. Certainly in fantasy, they do even more things.
Right, right.
And we wanted that to be customizable. So when you buy this model, when you recruit it into your free band, it gives you a basic effect for being a standard that motivates people to, you know, do great things. And then you can, don't have to, you can upgrade it to have additional effects.
Right, right.
A choice of a list, one out of a list of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So that, and it's not available to every single, there's no demon standard bearers.
Right.
You're weird and awesome from another dimension. You don't need a standard bearer. You act like you do, but so we probably ought to make something that has a similar deal. Right?
Yes, yes.
Probably a performer of some kind.
And now that we've kind of cracked this nut,
yeah,
we can start
go
working
back
on
and cover the other free bands that might not have this effect out there, but it won't be with a guy with a flag. Okay.
Right, right.
So it's one with a flag. You can paint them any way you want. You can freehand the banner itself. It can be, part of the Cronin army, the Trazerite army, one of the Phalar nations. And then you can paint the skin and the hair,
However the color you want.
Yeah, however you want that to be to match whatever you're doing.
And it's a beautiful sculpt that shows off the banner very, very well and has a nondescript enough face that you could easily see any of the races, any of the factions that are represented, are supposed to be represented in that.
Sure. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So very utilitarian. Now, of course, people like me, we're going to have a different one. I'm going to have a Phalar one, a Falcaran one, a Hair
like 6 of them, haven't you? And you've got them kind of lined
up. Julie had to temper my
your enthusiasm
rating the box before we actually, did our retail release. So I snuck one out of there, like a cookie out of the cookie dough. But yeah, I will eventually. I have that for my some of my other allies, like my merchants.
Right.
I have one merchant painted as a Phalar, one is a Simker, one is a it'd be in the fail non-perfectionist that I am. Completist, not perfectionist. Certainly not perfect. So I'll have a set of standard bearers to go with that. So eventually.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably do a head swap for my Trazerite one though.
Yeah, but I was
get a gold archer head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So cool model.
Very cool model. Another cool model is the Trillion Shifter. And the more I look at her, the more I like her.
So, when we go to these conventions and we meet our players and we're talking, it's always the question, so what's your favorite faction? I know I have my answer, but I'll tell you, if somebody said out of these 9 models, what's your favorite? It's the Shifter.
It's this one?
And I did it.
Right? She's mine.
Oh, the 6 of them are mine. So... So if you're watching the new shenanigans Trillian's going to pull off with the Shifter, you can blame me, totally blame me.
Unless you're playing as the Trillions, in which case you can send your gifts to...
Yeah, except all bribes. Sure. So it's a follower. And one of the things you'll notice here is that there's a trend in this release and a couple around it. There were factions out there that didn't have a 8 or 9 gold follower.
Right.
And they were constrained in list building because if the lowest was 12 or so, what can you do? Now, of course, there's more items now coming in 25.3, and there's magic items that came out in 25.2. Right. There's a lot more ways to spend that extra 3 to 4 points.
We've solved that problem in a number of ways.
Yes. But I much prefer my followers in the 9-ish range anyway. Right. I know people do. So that wasn't evenly spread across the factions. So this is one of them. Mm-hmm. And nothing to write home about her combat capabilities. Got a knife and a D6 and this and that and the other thing. But she has the wild magic shift spell where she can move her target herself or someone else 3 inches.
Yeah.
For free. And that can lead to some crazy stuff.
I was going to say that's.
And I'll probably never make another Trillion free band list again. It doesn't have at least 3. So you're welcome, and it's my fault. And you can suffer along or just grab a bunch for yourself.
I was going to say Trillion free band. Yeah, they're dirty, and now they're shadowy.
Yeah, and the dichotomy in Trillius is that the Trillion nation, the Trillion realm, is the deep wood. And that the whole story of why things are the way they are with Trillius, why they look the way they do, why they do the wandering, and some other things that are in their culture is coming.
Yes. Yes.
But fundamentally, there's the deep wood, which brings about things like the Defender and the Tree Runner,
Right.
and the Reach, which brings about things like the Guardian,
Yeah.
who's there to put mass fire into Krell Cataphract. Krell and Cataphracts, we need those too. Krell and Cataphract charges. And that is also the fundamental difference between tree speaking, which they learned from the Goldlands,
Yeah.
and celestial magic, which is their core magic.
Yeah.
You know, every faction can do any spell. It's not
Sure.
limited, but there's certainly trends, and the big trend in Trillius is that out under the stars, the Reach, it is celestial magic.
Right.
Shift is a celestial spell.
Yeah.
And so these fit the Stargazer, Guardian, Blade Rider forces more than they necessarily fit the Tree Runner Defender. Although, you know, don't let us stop you, right? You know,
Right.
that's the story. You could.
I'm going to say that having somebody that can pop, between trees sounds pretty cool to me.
Also
you know?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, a fun fact I'll point out to people: if you have a woods template, right? You have an area terrain feature of woods, and you have trees in it. You can be above the ground and move.
Yep.
Okay. So
Just saying.
just saying.
John's unsolicited advice for the day.
Yes, we'll skip that part at the end because it happened just now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So give Chris Jackson a call if you don't understand what I'm saying. Shifter, awesome, and also a cool look.
It is a very.
She is just subtly.
She's very different.
Yeah.
From a lot of.
I think so.
Well, than anything else that we produce for the Trillions. Quite
She right, because she's shifty.
She's shifty.
She is.
All right. Next up, we have the Khazaric Arctic Storm.
This is all you.
So we've been looking for another leader model for the Khazaric for a time, right? Khazaric players, you've been asking for it, and we've known that we needed to do something like that, something that shifts how Khazaric are played as a whole, and that's what we're doing with a lot of these. If you notice, there's leader things in here that are shifting the way that things are played, or there's follower models in here that are shifting the way things are played. And it's just our way of maturing the factions and of making sure that you have more than one option when you go to play your chosen force, your chosen faction. So the Khazaric Arctic Storm is very different as well. It draws on ice magic to immobilize, slow down, and then shatter their opponents. She is using a magic item, basically. Just
Rune shield.
Yeah, the rune
Yeah.
shield. To
On the ice, and the ice base.
the ice base too. Yeah, I mean she's kind of
She's salty.
she's very salty. She's very salty.
I see.
She drops a lot of ice tokens. So she also works in tandem with the Cryomancer to have some really nasty effects. So if you're looking for a different way to play Khazaric, if you've been playing Khazaric a certain way for a long time and you love your Khazaric, this is going to be a model that you want to pick up. Number one, it's a gorgeous model.
But she is cool.
She
Yeah.
is literally.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of that. But she's a gorgeous model, and her effects. It's going to take you a second. You're going to want to really look at what's going on there and the capabilities that she has. I play tested her a couple of games very late in the play testing process to get a feel for her, and boy, she has the ability to drop a lot of ice tokens really, really fast. So, Khazaric players, you're going to want to pick her up. All right, Banshee. This is our creature release for this season.
Ghost,
Ghosty.
screechy ghost,
Spook.
ghastly wail, ghastly howl.
Ghastly Howl, yeah.
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 Is her power. principal power. She has all kinds of awful things she does to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the Banshee, and is not this the made up name. Is actually we tried to bring a Banshee, a wailing spirit, that makes everyone uncomfortable and hurts them,
Right.
as a opponent, as a villain. So this is something you find in the sorcerer scenario. We're going to modify the sorcerer scenario to take
Yes.
her in charge.
Yes.
Beast hunt, and I want to do one into the ruins.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I think
With
this would be
instead of the
amazing
spiders, we're going to
adventurous.
do banshees.
And can I just put this in your head? Because I know that you're messing with scenarios for this upcoming year's theme, and Into the Ruins in that setting with
Yes.
these things would
Yes.
be hot.
Yes. Also, scene 2 of John Con, but fine. I am actually all over that for
I
once.
am
So
all
yeah,
over that. Yeah, I
yeah.
figured
Which
you-
is what I mean. Using the Into the Ruins scenario in the rule book is the villains are spiders, the denizens are spiders.
right, right.
The intent here is to give you another denizen to use.
Yeah.
And these banshees being in the ruins, instead of kind of a forested ruin with spiders clicking around, it's this ghostly, more, shadows and light everywhere, and these banshees floating about. Really should be played in a darkened room.
I agree with that.
Right.
With nice spooky sounds.
Yeah. I'm going to do all mine in that contrast paint or Kellyan blue, whatever
Oh, yeah,
it is.
yeah.
And so you have all these ghosts moving around. It's not just a single opponent, but you can do it one of several ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, but it's another creature, and also a creature available for those people running Brightsword campaigns.
Yeah, and I love, we say creature, and we've had the Gores on here recently. We've had, the larger base monsters, right?
Yeah.
This is a creature that's on a 25.
Yeah.
It's
A lot of them can fit in a lot of places.
That's
Yeah,
right.
sure. Yeah.
Last but not least, we have the Azura Wargle.
So another one of these, we need the Azura follow. Of course, the Azura is one of the newest factions, so not as
Not as
fleshed
developed.
out.
Not as.
Brandon never misses an opportunity to remind us.
He has mentioned that a couple of times.
Love him like a
in the
brother,
last
but
couple of weeks.
and he's
Yeah.
absolutely correct. So this is to add another option, the follower level, capable ambusher,
Yes.
right? And people are learning, the another piece of John's unsolicited advice. Remember that ambush allows you both to commit an ambush or just deploy anywhere in your own deployment zone.
Yeah.
So if you're patient, in certain scenarios like camp raid, for example,
Right.
a Wargull popping out can save the game.
Absolutely.
And isn't like limited from how far away from the enemy it is.
Right. But not if it's
Totally different situation than ambushing deeper under the table.
Mm-hmm.
So for not a lot of gold.
Right.
It's a 9 gold model.
I believe it's 9.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So to complete, to help complete Azura free bands and give them some more options.
Yeah.
A anthropomorphic bird in a hooded cloak.
Yes.
Right? Did I
Yes.
say all that right?
You said it exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I was writing it this morning, as you well know, because I sent you my.
Don't ask me to spell anthropomorphic.
Well, that's what I did, right? I thought I spelled it right, and then it just redlined everywhere, and I'm like, I'm going to let some other system that knows more than me
About
do
spelling?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a red line?
I know. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's a beautiful figure. I really
Very, very simple. And the thing is, very, very simple
yes.
in terms of not a complex design. Understated in terms of there's not a lot of flashy things going on. But boy, a bunch of those, maybe slightly different colors to the cloaks or some kind of camouflage pattern, maybe taken from a bird species.
Right.
You could have a lot of fun with that.
You could. You absolutely could. And I know a lot of you are gonna.
Yes. And I would also, I'm going to put my, because I've retired, I have to get into birding and gardening. So I'm going to put some of my favorite bird color patterns and do, yeah.
I'm not.
You're already there.
But I'm already there.
You're already
right? Like
there.
I'm way ahead of
me
my
along.
time.
I'll be paying all mine as dark-eyed junkos. But the of the 9 models, 2 aren't one piece.
Right.
If I remember correctly, the standard bearer and because the flag is separate,
Yeah.
and the Arctic Storm.
Yep.
You know, the Rune Shield and the Hammer are separate pieces, but all the other models are one piece, all plastic
Right.
of one type or another.
Yeah. I had to
So-
ask this morning. I was sitting in the climbing gym, and I was texting Jen, right? And I was like, "Hey, I don't know how many pieces the Dark Bane and the Questing Knight are." She's like, "Oh, we decided to go one,"
One
and I was
piece.
like,
Yeah,
"Oh, that's hot."
yeah, they're hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get that model and not have to put it together.
No, that's that's incredible.
And our percentage of doing that is going up with every release of the course. Now we're going back and addressing some models that are from the original metal, physical sculpt area that are getting way less complicated.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because we have several that are about to make landfall.
Yeah,
And it's going to take some weight out of your modeling bag for sure.
yes.
But it is going to deprive you of that weapon should, something terrible happen at the gaming table.
I think you
need
go
to
back
defend
and
yourself.
give players who put metal war spiders on the table like some kind of stat bonus, +1.
How about a month's worth of free therapy?
That's not the worst idea, but so but yeah, to just get, when we first set out, the original crew of us years and years and years ago, what did we know? We knew metal models.
Sure.
And these designs are just so much more battle ready,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
friendly to the hobbyist.
Yes.
So
And
it's like,
so much crisper. And now, don't get me wrong, I still love my metal models,
yeah,
and I will go to my grave loving my
Yeah.
models. But man, there's just so much you can do with the plastic, and so that's what we're giving you guys. Obviously, each new release for the last 3 years has been in plastic, ever since Urtigar Ruin at Adepticon 2.5 years ago. Everything's been in plastic, and we've been going back and we're redoing a lot of the line in plastic.
plastic Stoneclaw Savage, anyone?
That's so close. Oh gosh,
Yep, that's rise up on the list, right?
it is.
And I'm with you on metal models. The other day I was playing a different game. I do play other games.
Me too. Sure. Yeah.
I had just assembled and finished painting a model for an event I was playing in, and I picked it up to put in the case, and the spear snapped off. And I did not apply significant pressure. We can argue about how much pressure I applied. I was the only one in the room, so my stories won't be going. It was not significant. And I just expletive, plastic, expletive,
Mhm.
So I do prefer, but when I say that, I don't prefer the old Knight of Basilar, the old War Spider.
Right.
I'm in my head, I'm looking at the one piece, well sculpted historical model, a British guardsman of 1815,
Sure. Sure.
a World War II, Finnish soldier, Finnish lieutenant, that are really well sculpted in a single piece, not, super complicated heavy metal models. No.
Right. Right.
So just straighten it up. But don't make those damn spears and bayonets too thin. I say.
All right, that's our lineup, and we're going to have a lot more to say about it in the next couple of weeks. You're going to see a ton of it on our social.
We covered all 9?
Yeah, we covered all 9.
Okay, you're the boss.
Look at us.
Look at us.
We've already gotten our unsolicited advice
Twice. Yeah. Go back, dial it back, and check it out.
So that's our episode,
wrap, yeah.
folks. We appreciate you holding with us. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate your comments and your feedback. We love it when you watch on YouTube and you leave a thumbs up for us or leave a comment. We really appreciate that, engaging with the algorithms for us, because you know how those are.
And look for an announcement. We're not going to make it here because it's somebody else's business, but look for an announcement. There will be a Black Friday sale.
Absolutely.
And
There's
it will
gonna be,
involve promotional models of a type for every so many dollars you spend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We're putting that together now.
yeah. So if you want to, don't go buy models right now. If you can wait because you want to take advantage of that, when you go to get the new models for Black Friday, you want whatever you need today that we already make to be piled into that.
Sure.
To count towards the MSRP to get the promotional models that you want to pick up. So, which are pretty cool.
Yep.
So,
And before we sign off, we'd like to thank Brett Finola, a World of Phalon Patreon subscriber who supports DGS games and the Free Blades community at the world builder level. For more information on the World of Phalon Patreon, please visit www.patreon.com/DGS games.
Brett's faction.
Brett's faction is Eclipse.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's right. Oh, I've seen his. I like his conversions.
Oh yeah, his
Coming out of the void door, and
yeah,
yeah. He's the man.
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Folks, we really appreciate it, and until next time, we'll see you around the table.
Sil Sakaba.